So what are those silly little bra tops that footballers wear nowadays? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you where the future of wearable technology is heading. Hi, I'm Dino from FFTV The High Press, and I'm going to talk about wearable technology. How football has changed, with football really has been a sport defined by tradition, yet is constantly evolving. We've had VAR, we've had goal line technology, but one of the biggest modern technological advancements transforming football is wearable technology. And this is from GPS trackers to physiological monitors. And these devices are enhancing our teams train, play, and help coaches and managers make critical performance decisions. For players, coaches, medical staff, analysts, and fans, the wearable tech revolution promises improved player welfare, it optimizes match preparation, creates new performance insights, and enhances viewing experience for us. Well, some of us anyway who like the stats. So I'll go down a brief history of wearable adoption in football. So whilst conceptual prototypes existed earlier, practical wearable tracking in elite football emerged only in the early 2000s. Early GPS pods like the SPI Pro X, produced by GP Sports, had limited spatial accuracy and very high battery demands. Adoption accelerated through the 2000s as the form factor, accuracy, and reliability improved while costs came down. Integrated devices like Zephyr Bioharness using GPS with other sensors appeared by the late 2000s. And then wearable technology were more widely used in training in major clubs. However, in match, the use of these devices were banned. Then in 2015, a surprise FIFA directive permitted leagues to introduce wearables in competitive games, provided they remain unseen. And the English Premier League pioneered live match use that season. In 2016, FIFA formalised standards for electronic performance and tracking systems, or EPTS, although you'll never probably use that acronym ever again in your life, and that regulated their match applications. And with that, multiple companies came on the market and were approved for FIFA Pro Vera protocol for in-game use. So let's talk about today and where wearable technology is today and where you will find it. Well, I mentioned earlier that the vests that you see them wear when they whip their shirts off and they look like a bra top, they are generally GPS trackers. And these pods, and the pod sits in the back like a mobile phone. So these tops will track things like on the pitch movements, distance covered, top speed, accelerations and decelerations, and agility metrics like turning frequency, how often a player turns. This data is then fed back to either an iPad or a computer. You see people with iPads now and the dugout. And it informs things like fatigue. This could be pre-match, during match, and post-match. There's also heart rate monitors. These are like ECG sensors in the chest, giving live heart rate variability data, revealing cardio workload and recovery rates in sessions. And they maintain training safety and intensity in most cases. The other ones are muscle sensors, and these are smart compression garments that are worn with electromyography, EMG, another acronym you'll never use again, and EMG sensors. And they detect muscle load imbalances, and this aids injury prevention and recovery optimization. There's also impact sensors, and these are body-worn pods registering collisions and tackles, with some even estimating G-force impact. I don't know any Forest players that actually produce any G-force, but there you go. And they protect the welfare of the player by alerting staff to heavy knocks. More trackers that we are used to in our everyday life are things like sleep trackers, and they're worn overnight, and these monitor sleep duration, sleep efficiency, disturbances. But at the end of the day, poor sleep heightens injury risk, and it also impedes recovery in sport. The new ones coming in are integrated smart shirts, with companies like Athos and Hexaskin producing shirts fusing heart rate, breathing rate, muscle activity, sweat, and muscle sensors for comprehensive monitoring. So this is no longer a device, the device is in the shirt. Also, new tech is insole trackers, where smart loaded insoles in the shoes are emerging, tracking technical metrics like kick speed, pass counts, jump height, and more granular footwork data. There's no escape for any of us. Get this one, there are core body temperature sensors, which are ingestible sensors swallowed by players, providing temperature data during play. And this is useful for hydration and heat stress management. Where will all this end? And don't forget, I say simplistic, but on a more simplistic side, there are drones, cameras following players around on training pitches. Right, I just need to go to the loo. Oh, right, sorry about that. That took 17 seconds, 16 steps, and a twisted ankle on the way back means that Pep can't choose me this week. So that's the data I picked up from that. So who uses this technology? Well, the physiological and biomechanical data is used by coaches, fitness staff, medical staff, and analytics staff for decisions around training loads, recovery, player selection, and injury mitigation. The internal load data that they get out of these devices enables kind of individual programs, an optimization of training volumes and intensity per player, and research shows acute spikes in workload substantially elevates risk of injury. Get this one, asymmetry indicators can also flag injury risk before they escalate. Like, for example, consistently heavier force on one leg in sprinting, a bit like me. I think I've got one leg slightly shorter than the other, so I used to run around in circles. But these devices can pick that up, and then the training team and coaching team and medical team can look at repairing that problem or working around that problem. So these devices also help with rehabilitation of players when they're already injured, and it helps with recovery milestones, reducing reliance on just subjective manual assessments. And this also can minimize reoccurrence of the same injury. The popular one really is in-match. Real-time heart rate, temperature, running load data, turning stats, etc., etc., etc. And you wonder where people get the amount of statistics from them, from the number of passes, the number of runs, the kilometers run in a game, and it is from these wearables. It's also being used in scouting with people like Brighton. Everybody on the channel knows that I'm a big fan of Brighton in terms of their model, but their model includes a piece of software that will interrogate some of this data and will help them decide on the players they want to bring into the club. It also gives physical profiling, so they can see whether, for example, if you're looking at signing a player from a lower league, you can actually track and see whether they're able and how quickly they're able to adapt to a league above or two leagues above. So after the match, the movement, skill execution, and load data is synchronized with video footage for improved assessment from the coaching team. And they can assess things like technical effectiveness in relationship to other players on the pitch, physical exertion, and all phases of play. Post-match and within training, it also helps with training and development. So if a player has a weak kick rate with a particular foot, they can actually put that into their training program for individual skill development. Now, where we come into this, we all watch things like Sky Football, and it's important for fan engagement and broadcasting. You know, there's some people that don't like statistics, but there are a lot of people that enjoy the statistics that is on the fly. You know, it's on-demand statistics. So at the end of the first half or during the first half, these statistics are being fed back to the studio. And with the use of graphics on TV, they actually turn into something that's viable. In my opinion, it won't be long before these things where they've already done it on Sky, where you can track a player. So you can track your favourite player around the pitch on a second screen. It won't be long before that sort of data is fed into that for me. So I don't think in the future, I don't think they're going to be able to measure much else. I mean, if you can measure sweat coming off, then you can pretty much measure anything. But the tip of the iceberg really is where we are today with the wearable technology. You've got in the vest, you've got this almost phone size pack in the back. And definitely they're going to be moving more into properly embedded wearable technology that's seamlessly embedded into your football boots, your shirt, and your socks. And definitely it's going to move, and this is the gospel, this isn't my opinion, it's definitely moving more towards the skills data, the things like not only did this player do 50 passes during a match, but these are the amount of accurate passes. They'll only go smaller. Eventually, they'll end up in shin pads and rings and bandages. There are some concerns and some negatives. Well, for one, some fans hate it and they just want to watch a game of football on the eye. There's a growing band of people like myself that like these statistics. But there's concerns also around privacy, workload management, and over-reliance on that data. Again, the guys on the channel call it the eye test. The eye test versus what it says on the stats. So all in all, I think it's a positive thing for me. And still, while it's in its adolescent, it's fairly advanced now. Wearable technology is undoubtedly having a profound impact across ecosystems in football around the world. And their adoption will only snowball as the accuracy of the sensors improve, the integration into the wearables, and the analytics improved. Will it ever reach Sunday League? Well, I've retired from that lark. But you guys in the future, you might be wearing this technology in your competitive Sunday League games, shall we say. Hope this has been useful. I hope you understand now what it does and what all these things are. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.